According to Thomas Aquinas, truth is something that happens in the mind. In other words, if no mind ever existed, then truth will not exist. And this fact that, like many other questions in philosophy, appears to be so apparent that it is almost not worth mentioning, has significant consequences if we forget about it. To make this point clearer, Aquinas distinguished between logical truth and ontological truth. For him, logical truth is the proper sense of truth, and it is the truth that appears in our minds when we obtain knowledge about the world. Reality, being, is said to be true in a secondary and derivative way because it is what grounds the truth that we obtain in our minds. In other words, if I say it is raining, that thought or expression belongs to my thinking, not to yours, and not to the world. However, it is made true by the fact that it is raining out there. This view about truth places Aquinas' philosophy within an epistemological realism, which in the Thomistic tradition means that when it comes to transcendental, overarching aspects of reality, things like existence, being, truth, goodness, there is an order in terms of what comes first. And that order of priority is that being, what things are, and that they are, comes first, and only secondarily we get truth. Why does that order matter? Well, such approach differentiates realist philosophies from idealist and rationalist systems in the sense that I just mentioned, that how things are takes precedence over how we think about things. Of course, there are things in the world that exist only because we think about them or represent them as existing, and that is the case of money, institutions, language, etc. For Aquinas, all those things were artifacts. Some are mental, like the fact that we believe that certain piece of paper is money, or a syllogism as a type of reasoning, and some are external physical artifacts, like a cell phone or written sentences. But the truth, their truth, is still relative to the kind of thing that they are, to their being according to the designs or representations of their makers. Wisdom, precisely, for Aquinas, comes from separating things that are necessary, which are part of the theoretical reason, from things that are within our action, which belong to the practical reason. So Aquinas' understanding of truth has, at least, a couple of consequences that I believe encourage us to be careful about the way we talk about truth. One is that truth is not a thing. When we talk about finding the truth, it's not like finding a thing. No one pulls out of their bag their keys, their phone, and voila, look at that, truth. Absolute truth is not a thing either, so it cannot be found. What can be found are different realities in all their complexities. And for each type of reality, our approach to it may have to vary to match precisely the peculiarities of those realities. For example, the materiality of the world has to be dealt with differently when it pertains to physics than when we treat with biology. Things related to politics, economics, and society have a different degree of necessity and certainty than mathematics. Technology and ethics allow for a plurality of approaches that first principles may not permit. The way we get to know persons as opposed to things requires different cognitive abilities. For this reason, a second consideration is that our approach to truth is very much prudential, in that we must first tune to reality before imposing our schemes and agendas. An apocryphal story is attributed to Hegel that when someone pointed in his lectures to the discrepancy between his theories and the facts, Hegel replied, so much worse for the facts. Intellectual humility, which is one of the core values at the Dominican School of Philosophy and Theology, is rooted precisely in this respect for reality that manifests in the openness to understanding what surrounds us in its own terms, avoiding so much worse for the facts slogan. We encounter realities that we get to know with more or less depth, and when we do so, we are in a state of truthfulness towards that reality.